रंगां दी कहानियां चख चख के बैठे हाँ गलियां चक गईयां करता है रब का अंधेरा तुम दबा के वो तो भागेगा जब आएगा सवेरा आसमान में सुरख तू बना दे उस पर ही तो है ना दिन का बसेरा Walking on a tightrope, singing in the lifeboat. Why they wanna medicate me like a sick joke? And I don't wanna let go, never mind, Chodo. And if I get a tummy ache, yeah, I'll just take a pep talk. Oi, उम्र में सारियां जी लियां रोशनी में सारियां जी लियां रंगां दी कहानियां चख चख के बैठे हाँ गलियां चक गईयां alright, I'm off for the cloud. So don't worry about me now, worry about me now. And we both know I've been here all along. So don't worry when I'm gone, worry when I'm gone. लोरियां सुना नींदें आई थकी थकी झपकी है आई थोड़ी सी मोहलत है खर्चेंगे होली से गिनी चुनी सांस लाई सोचा ये था मैंने के गाई छाती की गुल्लक है खर्चेंगे होली से खुली खुली आंखें ये ख्वाबों का झरोखा है जाके जाके देखो तो सच बंदे भरोसा है हर पल का तुम मसले धीरे से ओ कुछ डरना जीने से तुम Walking on a tightrope, singing in the lifeboat. Why they wanna medicate me like a sick joke? And I don't wanna let go, never mind, Chodo. And if I get a tummy ache, yeah, I'll just take a pep talk. Oi, उम्र में सारियां जी लियां रोशनी में सारियां जी लियां रंगां दी कहानियां चख चख के बैठे हाँ गलियां चक गईयां I just wanna see you having fun for me, for me, for me, for me. Cause you and I know you feel the love for me, for me, for me, for me. I just wanna see you having fun for me, for me, for me, for me. Cause you and I know you feel the love for me, for me, for me, for me.
Hello and welcome to the UX webinar presented to you by Growth School along with UX Anudeep. We are super excited to have all of you join us today for what is coming in the next 1 to 1.5 hours. For those of you who are new to Growth School, let me very quickly give you an introduction about what we are trying to do at Growth School before I hand it over to UX Anudeep for him to take over the entire session. There are two things that we are trying to focus on at Growth School. Number one, being providing learners like all of you with access to the top 1% of the industry so that you can get practical learnings from all of these experienced people that we are trying to bring in for you. And while doing that, we are building a community of like-minded people because we truly believe that learning happens best when you have like-minded people to discuss your problems and your situations with. Today, we have UX Anudeep with us, who has over 7 years of experience in the industry, currently works with Amazon as a UX designer, but has a personal goal of training and mentoring the next 1 million designers. He has already mentored and coached over 15,000 UX designers, help them crack their first UX job and help them upskill themselves as designers. And that is exactly what he's going to present to all of you today. I'm going to put the spotlight right on him and have him take over for the next 1 to 1.5 hours. Hey, Anudeep, super happy to have you here today.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. Come on, all of you on the chat. Are you excited? Excited to know about UX design? Yeah, say excited on the chat. Come on. Awesome, awesome. That's really good. Okay. Okay, so without wasting a lot of time, what we'll do is, I hope you can see my screen, all of you. You can see my screen? Yes. Awesome. Yes, I hope you can see my screen. Can you see this? Yeah. Awesome. So what we'll do is, without wasting even a minute, we get with an exercise right away. Yeah, let's get with an exercise right away. Awesome. Come on. So what I want you to do is, I want you to find a nearby switch and switch on and switch it off for 3 times. Come on, everyone. Go and find a nearby switch, switch it off and switch it on for 3 times. Yeah, come on, everyone, do it. You have to do it. Come on, go, get up, go and do it. Find that nearby switch, a fan switch or a light switch, go and find it and switch it off and switch it on for 3 times. And while you're doing that, observe it very carefully. Come on, all of you. Observe the switch as you're switching it on, switching it off. Observe everything what is happening very, very carefully. Yeah. Once you're done, say done on the chat. Say done on the chat. Yes. Awesome. Also observed. Say observed on the chat. Observe everything, whatever you did on the chat. Yes. Awesome. Say observed. Observed on the chat. Awesome. So now I have a question for you. I have a simple question for you, right? A very simple question. How did you know how to use a switch? How did you know how to use the switch? Come on the chat, everyone. How did you know about this? Did someone teach you about using a switch? Did I give you instructions about how to use a switch? Come on, how do you know about using the switch? Yes, past experience. Come on, how did you know? How did you learn about using a switch? You saw your parents do it. It's so easy. It's common sense. It's so simple. Yeah, what is there? Hey, Anudeep, what stupidity is this? Why are you asking such silly questions? It's so easy. It's very, very, very easy to actually go and use a switch because we do it regularly. We don't always, right? But let me tell you one thing. How many of you agree that it was very easy to use a switch because it has actually been designed in that manner? How many of you agree? Say agree on the chat. It has been made in such a manner that it is very easy for you to identify that it's a switch. Did any one of you use your entire hand to use the switch? Did anyone of you use your complete leg? Did you do karate poses to actually switch on the switch? No, right? What you did is you simply use your finger and switched on the switch or switched off the switch, and you have been always doing it the same way, right? So there was someone who actually made the switch in such a way that it is so obvious and easy for us to use. Right? Do you all agree? Say agree on the chat. Right? With this, what you need to understand is yes, amazing, amazing. So what you need to do is promise me from right now that you will not look at multiple objects around you in the same manner as you were looking at from today, right? Until today, right? So what you will be doing is you will be doing this called opening your third eye. What you'll do is you will go and look at multiple objects around you and not look at them like, hey, you know what, I have a switch. I'll just go switch it on, switch it off. But on top of it, you'll also start asking questions like, hey, I'm able to use it, but it's so obvious for me. How is it so obvious for me to use it? Right? Why is it is made? Okay, why is a switch shaped in that such manner? Why is it only that much size so that my finger can fit? You have to ask all these questions, opening your third eye, so that you will learn from everything around you. And let me tell you guys, this is exactly how learning UX design starts, right? Say, I will open my third eye, or 3E on the chat, 3E on the chat. Come on. If you agreed with me, say 3E on the chat. That you will go and open your third eye, ask questions about everything around you, and start learning about how it has been designed in such a way that it is so obvious and easy for you to use. Amazing, amazing. Okay, but you must be wondering, hey Anudeep, we thought we are in a session where we wanted to understand about UX design, and why are you talking about switches and all that, right? Let me get that to you, right? So what we'll do is, we'll again start off with an example, okay? So, all of you carefully look at the screen. Please look at the screen. You must have seen this, okay? So this is Swiggy's screen. So what happens is, whenever you want to place an order on Swiggy, Swiggy gives you only 60 seconds window for going and canceling the order, right? So once you place an order, you can actually cancel the order for 60 seconds, right? So my question to you, all of you here is, why should Swiggy give an option to go and cancel your order? Come on the chat, reason. With your common sense, just common sense, right? On the chat, everyone. Why does Swiggy have the option to go and cancel the order? Come on. Yeah, on the chat, everyone. Whatever answer you think it is. Yes. So you know, yeah, you might want to change anything in the order. It's very easy, so it should be changed. You probably might have made a mistake. Awesome. Wrongly placed an order. Yes, we are all humans, right? And therefore, we all can make mistakes. Right? So Swiggy understands this, that it is human to make errors, and that's the reason why it has an opportunity for us to go and cancel the order, right? Because they are thinking that the product, the Swiggy product has been built in such a way that people can actually go and cancel their order, because they have thought about this case where people can go and make mistakes. What do we understand from this? We understand that the products around us, right, like a switch you have seen previously and the Swiggy example which you have seen now, these products have been designed for us, keeping our behavior, our people like us as humans in their mind while they are actually going and designing. Do you agree with this? Right? Do you agree that because it is human to err is human, right? Say err is human, to err is human, right? But let me tell you one more thing, right? What we'll see is, so therefore, if you observe in this screen, Swiggy or these products have done so many things to actually go and make these features helpful for users, right? Write this word, guys. Write this word, users, right? Swiggy has done multiple things on the screen, lot of things over there, lot of features over there, so that it is making the lives of users very easy. So write down on your notes, users, right? Awesome. But then I have a very, very obvious question, which all of you are bubbling with. You know, why is it that only 60 seconds? Why is the window for opening, window for canceling only 60 seconds? Come on. Why not longer? Come on, all of you on the chat. Why not longer? Why not give 5 minutes? Why not give half an hour, or probably throughout the order time? Why not? Yeah. Why only give 60 minutes, 60 seconds? Yeah. Yes, obviously, because if you give more time, Swiggy will end up going into a lot of losses, right? They'll have to end up spending a lot of money, because probably the order might have started, probably everything has started, a lot of operations started, right? Awesome. What does this mean? it means that it is not just, the product has not just been designed in such a way that it is helping us, but it's also been designed in such a way that it benefits the businesses as well, right? So if you observe that there are features which helps the businesses as well. So everyone say designing for businesses on the chat. Come on, all of you on the chat, designing for businesses. It is very important to design for businesses as well, right? Come on the chat, everyone. Awesome, right? And if you observe carefully, all these things on the screen have been actually crafted by someone, right? Someone crafted this whole experience in such a way that it actually helps users. It also helps the business, right? Someone has crafted it in a balanced manner in such a way that it is helping people and it is also helping the business, right? And for doing this, someone is doing all this craft. And let me tell you what you have seen right now through this example is the exact thing what UX designers do on a daily basis, right? In a very, very, very non-textbook manner, what you have seen is the actual approach to learn UX design, right? What we do sitting in companies over there to become valuable UX designers, not just normal UX designers, to become valuable UX designers is we make sure we design all experiences for users. Like the examples you have seen, we make sure that everything is actually user-centric. As I'm saying, please write this down, right? User-centric on the chat, right? We make sure that we build all features, everything so that it is user-centric. We think of users, we do multiple things so that users can actually use our products in an easy manner, right? User-centric. The second thing is, it's popularly also a misconception. People just think that user experience designers only design for users, right? But the second important thing is we design multiple experiences we optimize experiences in such a way that we impact businesses as well. So write business impact again on the chat, business impact, because the reason I'm asking you to type it is because you'll commit to it. Come on. Yes. Awesome. Yes. And then you've also seen that to do all these things, to go and design for the users and to go and designing for the businesses, you need to be very good in the tools as well, right? This person who actually is trying to impact those businesses, who's actually making the lives of the people easier, is also using the relevant tools to go and do this, right? Do we agree? So say being good in tools on the chat. Come on. I will be good in the tools. I will learn the tools on the chat, right? This calls for us to understand a very, very popular misconception. What happens is a lot of people think that UX designers out there simply make screens. How many of you think like this, right? Because when you go to Instagram, when you go to multiple places, Dribbble and all these things, all you see is Instagram, all you see people just making fancy screens, showing off all those stuff, right? But this is a very, very, very popular misconception. UX designers don't just make screens. What they do is they actually build experiences in such a way that people's lives can become better. And through identifying opportunities for users' lives to become better, they actually enable businesses to go and do business better. And to do all these things, they use the tools, right? This is what UX designers do, right? Awesome. When was the last time you had such clear understanding of what UX designers do in such a practical manner, right? Did you enjoy this? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So now you might be asking, hey, Anudeep, all this is great, but who the duck are you, man? Why should we understand about UX design from you, right? Okay. So all of you know that, hey, this is UX Anudeep, UX designer, 8 years experience, MNC starters, multiple experiences there. But let me tell you one thing. I am a person who started just like you. All the confusions which all of you have right now, all those things like, hey, how to get started in UX design, what path to take, will I be a fit to UX design or not? I had the same kind of confusions, and thanks to everyone who has actually helped me get this clarity, I could figure out that this field is the thing which can make me really, really happy. And I got into UX design. So let me tell you one thing. If it was possible to me, it is possible to every one of you right there, right? I didn't go to any design school. I don't have any degree or any previous thing. There was nothing. I was an engineer and I had no idea about UX design. And then I am doing very, very well right now in UX design, And you know what? One of the main reasons this is happening is because UX design work fulfills my fundamental qualities. What do I mean by that? Whatever I naturally do, whatever I've been doing right from my childhood, let's say I loved cricket, right? Whatever I naturally do, I loved cricket because I really love bowling, and I love bowling because I can change my game every time I bowl. The fundamental quality over there was I wanted very dynamic situations. I didn't want situations to stay the same, right? These fundamental qualities of what I had were matching very well with this career option. And that's why I am able to be very happy being a UX designer. It naturally was a fit to me, right? So the takeaway from this is what I want you to do is I want you to work on yourself before getting into UX design, before thinking of anything about UX design. What you need to do is you need to work on yourself, asking the question, what fundamental qualities do I have? How do I really fit to this UX design career, right? What all qualities do I have? What all qualities are required for UX designers? And therefore, I will do this match, right? Will you do this? Say match on the chat. Come on the chat. Say match. Yeah. Awesome. Very good, right? This is a common mistake a lot of people do, right? What they think is, hey, you know what? Let me just get started into UX design because there's a lot of money, right? Yes, obviously there is money, but let me tell you one thing. It really works for only those people which it really works. For those people who really enjoy it, which matches with their fundamental qualities, and they really make a lot. They create a lot of value using UX design. But let me tell you, there are also people for whom it doesn't work as well. So the first thing, no matter what anyone says, the first thing you need to do is to understand whether you are a fit to UX design or not, right? Awesome. Now that I have a promise from you saying that match, so let's go ahead and see one more example, right? Oh, what's this? Sorry, guys, just some technical error. Okay. So what we'll do now is we will go and look at another example. Okay, ready? Yes, say ready on the chat. Yeah, we are all going to learn everything about UX design only through examples in a very practical manner. Ready? Awesome. Yes. Okay. So what we'll do now is, yes. So observe these screens. This is Instagram Shorts and this is YouTube Reels, right? The moment you see both of them, you must have definitely had this question, right? Tell me how many of you had this question. Why are they both copying each other? Why is YouTube Reels exactly copying Instagram? Sorry, YouTube Shorts, sorry. Why is YouTube Shorts exactly copying Instagram Reels, right? And why did they both copy from TikTok? Yeah, why did they do it? On the chat, come on, tell me your answer. Why? Why should they copy? They have so much money. They're such big companies. Can't they build their own UX? Why should they copy? Right? Come on. Yes, it's right. Because common sense answers. Just give me common sense answers, guys. Common sense answers. Exactly. It is very easy for people to understand, right? It helps people understand about how is it that you can, use this feature without even getting confused about it. That's it. It's already a feature which you have already learned. You have used it in TikTok. You know how to use it. You have used it on Instagram. You know how to use it. And the same thing happens in YouTube as well. Because you need to understand that UX design is not done just because we want to be different. It's not like artwork where we want to be, hey, you know what, they made something, I will not do the same thing. No, we make sure that whatever it takes to actually provide an experience in such a way that people can easily use it, we go and do it. Simple, right? And you know what? From this common sense answer, which all of you have given, right? You know what? This is not just some random thing. This is actually called as the principle of familiarity. Really, really. There is a principle which supports copying, right? I am mind blown about this, right? So next time you go and copy someone's UX, be very confident saying that, hey, you know what? There is this principle called principle of familiarity. If there is, I mean, the only thing we have to take care is if there is a pattern which people already have learned, it's important that you follow a similar pattern, right? Obviously, we'll talk more about how is that you can bring your own innovation. But if there is a pattern which is already established, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So in this manner, there are multiple UX design principles, right? This is one of the many fundamental UX design principles which you can go and learn, right? So what I want you to do, the takeaway from this, what I want you to do is understand that you need to practice fundamental UX design principles. So write it on the chat. Design principles. Say principles on the chat if you agree. Come on, right? Will you promise to me that you will go and practice multiple fundamental UX design principles? Yes. Awesome. The participation is really good. I love it. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't stop here, right? Let's understand more about UX design. So I want you to observe this screens as well, right? So here I'm presenting a hotel booking app. So if you see these screens, there are a lot of questions which are coming to my mind, right? So let's say there is this room, tour, lobby and all that. There are images, but there are multiple sections of these images. But why only this room, tour and lobby? Why not bed, outside and all that? Why only these things, right? And how do I know if people are really able to understand whether this address is right or wrong? How do I know whether people are able to understand this address itself for the first place, right? How do I know? Let us say in this review panel, if you observe over here, there are ratings and review over there, right? There's something like sanitation, hotel staff, facilities, breakfast and location. How did they decide on these 5 things only? Out of multiple ways of going and rating and reviewing a product, how did they decide only on these 5? How do they know it is that? Those are the important things which users are actually going and looking at to decide a hotel or not. How are they doing it, right? Well, you might say that, hey, you know what, Anudeep, what is there? I know obviously this address, I've been seeing this address. I know room and all, tour and all this is important, right? These metrics, obviously breakfast is what you will do. Now, I know all those things, right? What is so complicated? I know all these answers, right? So obviously I can design, right? Isn't it? What do you say? We know all those answers, right? Right? Yes, which leads to a very popular misconception, right? Which we need to unlearn right now. Write this down, everyone, guys. When we are actually sitting in the seat of a designer, we do not think that we are the users, right? We forget that we are the users. I'm not saying you are never the user, right? Obviously, we are users when we use those products. When I'm using Oyo, I'm the user. But when I take the seat of the designer, right? When I want to make something better in Oyo, if I'm working in Oyo, I do not think that I am the user. I will forget that I am the user. Why? Because the moment we think that we are users, we cannot build products for everyone. We cannot build user-centric products, right? Because we cannot assume all the answers by ourselves, right? Then everyone will end up doing is build products for their own selves, right? And therefore, probably what happens is, let us say, for you deciding a hotel room, let's say you need a jacuzzi in a hotel room. So what you will do, you'll optimize for having a jacuzzi or not in every hotel screen. But that's not exactly how people might decide, right? So we cannot assume all the answers by ourselves. And that's why it is very important that we as UX designers, we go and do research. Write this down, guys. Write this down. Therefore, it is very important that you see all those things on Instagram and all those things, people just thinking that, hey, you know what, I know all these concepts, I know all these solutions, I am the designer. Let me tell you one thing. It is a very important job function as UX designer that we don't assume stuff. We go, of course, we present our assumptions, but we go and understand from users whether it is really working or not. And therefore, research is very important. And therefore, write this down, guys. you need to learn UX research as well. Yes, you cannot omit this. You cannot omit this, right? And let me tell you, it's actually not very, very difficult to learn research. There are a lot of people who actually go and scare around saying that, hey, you know what, research and all, all this is very crazy. But all screens and all, I can make using some tools and all, right? But let me tell you, how many of you are actually enjoying this approach, right? The approach I've been taking right now, right? I'm showing screens, I'm asking you common sense things. All of you, I'm asking common sense answers, right? Is anyone giving very complicated answers? Just giving common sense answers. And trust me, you've already learned so much, right? You've got so many clear perspectives about what UX design is. And if you have the right kind of mentor, if you have the right kind of teaching, you don't have to really, really worry about learning anything. Let me tell you, right? Because we relate so much, right? How many of you love maths here and hate maths here? And let me tell you, it is because of your maths teacher. If your maths teacher was very good, you would have loved maths, right? If you hate maths, that means you didn't have a very great teacher, right? Let me tell you, this is real. You need to learn things from the right kind of person who can actually make it in such a way that you easily approach it, you enjoy it, right? That's why we started off by understanding whether UX design can really fit us or not. And once it fits, it's really, really enjoyable, right? So let me give you a little bit of an idea about what happens in research. So obviously, let me ask you a question, right? How can you go and find out answers? You want answers. Let us say you are looking at the screen, right? You want answers to these questions. How do users understand this address? What are the important reviews? How do you do that? Yeah, how do you get the answers? Yes, obviously. First thing you can go and do is you can go and do research yourself. Correct? You can go and talk to people. You can go and conduct some surveys, right? You can observe from all those surveys, all the things which are happening, right? You know what? This common sense thing of going and doing research ourselves, by going and finding out from people, is actually known as primary research, right? Primary research on the chat. Simple, right? Going and doing research ourselves is called primary research. What is the next obvious thing which you can do, right? What is the next obvious thing which you can do? If you don't have time, if not just if you don't have time, but it's not always that you have to spend time going and doing all the research yourself. What is the next obvious thing to do? Going and taking existing research, right? Very common sense, right? You can go and gather data from research which is already done, right? You can get articles, you can get some lot of records, database, or whatever it is. You can also ask research data from multiple other people, right? That's exactly what is called as secondary research. And you know what? This is exactly what UX designers do. Either they collect all the data, or they collect the data which is collected by other people. Simple. And therefore they use these fancy terms. Hey, you know what? I'm doing this primary research. Yeah, I finished my secondary research and I came over there. Nothing. It's simple. I'm doing research myself, or I'm collecting data which others have done. Simple. Right? Okay. So now that you got a little snapshot of what research is, let's go to the next example. Yeah. Okay. So all of you look at these screens again, right? Look at these screens again. So if you see over here, like some payment apps over here, right? Some Paytm and other apps. If you observe over here, you can actually go and enter the amount. But what this app is doing over here is, it is suggesting you some amounts, right? Here also you can enter, and it's suggesting those amounts. Why? Why should they suggest the amount? You can also enter the amount, no? Why should they suggest the amount? Come on. Yes. It can save time, right? It is very quick. Yes, it is very quick to actually go and do that, right? It helps people to quickly decide how much to add, right? It is helping in the decision making, right? So that I don't have to type 1000. Now I can just quickly say, okay, obviously I want to add 1000, right? But let me tell you one more thing. Observe very carefully. It's not just that it is helping the users over here, but it is also going and helping the business as well, right? How is it? The business can make sure that it can influence people to add more amount of money than what they are thinking, right? Do you get this? But let me tell you one thing. Just because I said business, right, doesn't mean, oh, bad stuff people, they are cheating us, they're asking us to pay more money. It's not like that. It's a very, very popular misconception. Let me tell you one more thing. As UX designers, right from today, all of us need to promise that we will not work for free, and we will not think doing a business, charging money is a bad thing. We should not think like this, guys. Let me tell you, right? The world runs around businesses. We create value and we generate value. That's it. That's exactly how we get value. All those people who are struggling with, what, I'm not getting enough pay, not able to ask a salary. Let me tell you, if you create the right kind of value, you have to demand the value, whatever you want. It's very clear, right? So anyway, coming back, it is important, therefore, that we go by whatever designs we do, we go and impact businesses as well, because the world is running our businesses, right? Because Paytm is trying to do a business over there, therefore it is able to create a convenience for us. And because it is able to identify what is convenient for us, like suggesting the amounts which most popularly people use, it is also getting impacted in its business. It's the full circle, right? Say absolutely on the chat if you agree with this, right? And you know what? This is not just some random thing to actually go and increase the amount of money to add. They don't do this randomly. They actually calculate this with a metric called as average order value. Average order value, right? On a daily basis, for multiple orders, multiple things, they actually keep calculating these things. What is the amount of order people are actually going and placing? Is that average actually increasing on a daily basis or not? Businesses actively track these metrics. And you know what? Your job becomes very, very easy, for the business. The business can value you so much, if at all, whatever design you do can go and impact these businesses. Very simple. Let's say you're designing something, you identified an opportunity from your users, right? Hey, you know what? People really want to see different kinds of photos. Awesome. Go and add it and showcase to the business. How is it that it can impact their business? Oh, this will increase your order value. This will make sure that people can take a decision time faster, thereby reducing session lengths. Therefore, it gives us better conversions. If you attach whatever you do to a business metric, your business can clearly see the value of design that you're trying to do and can give you the value back, right? So what you'll do is, from now onwards, you'll also practice impacting business metrics. If you agree with me, say BID on chat. Business impact of design. Very, very important. And nobody speaks about it. Let me tell you about this, right? A lot of people don't really speak about this, but this is very, 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 very important. BID, business impact of design. Awesome. Yes. Okay. So all this is great. Hey, Anudeep, you understood, you made it understand that the approach to go and take UX design is designing for users, right? You also made sure that we understood that. You also made sure that we go and design for businesses, right? But now, Anudeep, I'm bubbling with a lot of ideas, right? You also mentioned to us about using tools and all that, right? So speak about it. So that's where we're getting into, right? What we'll see right now is, now that, let us say, you want to go and benefit users and benefit businesses, and you have these ideas. So what do UX designers do to actually go and take these ideas forward, right? So what we do is, let me tell you, right? Okay, so I'll play a quick video of how we take ideas and transform those ideas into, I'll actually tell you after the video is over, right? If you see over here, the student of mine, very sweet, that he made this video for me, right? There's an idea he had about actually going and making some kind of a music app. So what he's doing is, he tried to sketch out multiple concepts which he thought are right. And what he's doing is taking photographs of these multiple things and quickly going and attaching these multiple screenshots to make what is called as a low fidelity prototype, right? A low fidelity prototype, or you might have popularly seen this name called as wireframe, right? That's exactly how we go and get started, right from a place where we have those raw ideas, right? A lot of us don't really go forward because all we do is we just stuck with ideas. We go and talk about our ideas with our friends. But what you need to do is instead go and wireframe those ideas. Simple. All it takes is probably some 10-15 minutes, nothing more. Let me tell you, it is very damn simple. Go and present your ideas. And you know what are the biggest advantages of going and doing wireframing in this manner? You can quickly go and get feedback, right? Because when you go and tell your idea, getting feedback is very difficult. But what if you can quickly go and make your wireframes in this manner and show a concept which is almost like, it shows a complete idea of a concept by going and linking all these things. You can actually go and get feedback. And you know what? That's why it is actually known as low fidelity prototyping. And the reason why it is called prototyping is because you can go and take this working model. Prototype means working model, and go and get feedback, right? The more I'll explain you more about it. So what you will do is you will promise me from today that whatever ideas you get, you will practice them by going and wireframing. Come on, all of you on the chat, say wireframing on the chat. Come on, right? Yes, wireframing is what you do. And this whole exercise is actually called as low fidelity prototyping. Simple, right? Because the prototype, the working model you made over here doesn't have a lot of clarity in it. It has low fidelity, right? Therefore, it is called as low fidelity prototyping. But why is that you're going to do this? Why not make full screens only to start with, right? Because all it takes just 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And the best part is the moment you get feedback, you can go and easily change it because it's just a rough sketch, right? Awesome. People are like really getting this, right? Okay. So, and you might ask, hey, Anudeep, so hey, this is very fancy, dude. How is it that I can get started? Simple. There is this popular app. There are multiple apps, but what you can try is you can go and try this app called Marvel, a popular tool for doing exactly what you have seen in that video, right? You can go and make those multiple wireframes and go and take photos of it, try and link it, and go and talk to your friends about it and get some feedback about it and get started, right? Will you do that? Yeah. Awesome. Yes. And now next obvious question all of you will be having right now is, hey, Anudeep, all this is great, but how is it that I can go and build these working models, which are almost like final products, right? How do we do that, right? So let me tell you what we do as UX designers, right? Let me also again showcase you a video about this, right? So again, a video made by my student. So what we do is we actually take those things and use tools to go and make all those things which we call as, making those, building all those components, putting all those text, colors, fonts, using multiple existing components, right? And we also connect all those screens and all and make a prototype altogether, right? Whatever you're seeing over here, again, I'll show you the video, right? If you can see, there's a tool, design tool, which is being used over here, where the multiple screens which are being made over there, whatever you saw over there in the wireframes are being made over here as concepts, which are as close as possible to how they're actually used by people, right? And you go also connect them, also create multiple animated prototypes and all that stuff. And this is actually called as going and doing high fidelity prototyping, or as otherwise known as UI design, right? It is known as UI design, right? So what we do is, and let me clarify a very popular misconception, right? Which has started with saying that UX designers don't just make screens because a lot of people come and ask, hey, you're just simply drawing on the screen, huh? What, nothing else you're doing? No. Before going and drawing anything on the screen over here, there is so much we have already done till now. We understood about users. We go and went and analyzed those research. We applied multiple fundamental principles, right? And then we went and ideated and went and wireframe, and then we came to making screens, right? And therefore, it is very important to not jump off directly using these tools and not jump off into these prototypes, right? But yes, there's also another misconception which people think that, hey, you know what, as UX designer, I will do only research and all, I will not make these screens and all. No, right? Let me tell you one thing. You go to a doctor, let's say the doctor simply writes a strategy about how to operate you and send you that sheet. What, will you be cured? No, right? You can't eat that sheet and get cured, right? They'll have to finally go and operate you, right? The solution has to be implemented. The strategy alone is not enough. But what if the doctor comes and says, the moment you come, don't say anything, just come to my operation theater, I'll directly operate on you. Will it work? No, the doctor has to understand you. The doctor has to understand what your problem is and come with a relevant strategy to solve your problem, right? The same thing happens in UX design. It doesn't work if you go and not do research. It doesn't work if you not go and present these solutions, right? So, which is popularly known as UI design. And therefore, a lot of people think that, hey, you know what, UX is all those things, not making those screens, and UI is just about making those screens. Let me tell you, it's not that. UX design combines all these things, including going and doing UI design, because it involves us going and building experiences for our users. Results are important. UI design is a part of UX design. It is very, very important, right? So write it on the chat. UI design is a part of UX design. On the chat, everyone, come on. Come on, everyone. Right? Awesome, 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 awesome. Yes. Okay. So with that, what you will do is you will also commit to saying that, hey, you know what, Anadeep, to become a UX designer, I will practice UI design or high fidelity prototyping. Right? Write this down. Come on. I will also practice UI design or high fidelity prototyping. The reason it's called high fidelity is because there is a lot of clarity over here. It is a prototype because you're building working models, right? It is UI design because actually you're making those designs on an interface, right? It is called as high fidelity prototyping because it has a lot of clarity, right? Awesome, awesome. And you must be wondering, hey, what is that tool which you have just showed? All of you also already know about it. That's nothing but Figma, right? There are multiple tools over here. Actually, tools really don't matter. This is one tool which I've showcased over here, right? You could use Adobe XD, or you could use some InVision Studio or any other tool which comes in the future as well. It doesn't matter, right? A very, very popular misconception. Let me break it right now, guys. If any one of you think that, hey, you know what, I've learned Figma, therefore I've become a UX designer. No, it doesn't work. Let me tell you why. 10 years back, there were people like this who said, hey, you know what, I learned Photoshop. I am a UX designer. What are they doing now? Nothing. Because Photoshop is gone. So if you learn UX design by going tool backwards, I'll just simply learn one tool and call myself UX designer. It doesn't work. You need to understand that you need to build experiences for users. And for that reason, whatever tool it takes, I will go and learn the tool to go and build experiences for users, right? Let me give you a small example, right? If you learn how to use a knife, can you go and become a surgeon? Can you go become a surgeon? No, right? Yes, say no on the chat, come on. Right? But can you become a surgeon without learning how to use a knife? You cannot, right? You have to go and learn how to use a knife because you're going and becoming a surgeon. It goes hand in hand, right? So does it matter you learn only one type of knife how to use? Then let us say that type of knife changes tomorrow, your career is dead. No, right? Irrespective of whatever type of knife it is, you'll go and learn how to use it and go and do, because what you're doing is a surgery, not going and using a knife, right? That's exactly what all of you need to understand as well. We are learning a tool called Figma. That's fine. Probably Adobe XD, whatever. We can go and use them. But tomorrow, if the tools change, our jobs will not be lost, because what we're trying to do is not going and using a knife, but doing surgery. Right? Do you agree to this? If you loved it, say loved it on the chat. Come on. Right? Did you love this analogy? Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Very good. Okay. So now you might ask, hey, Anadeep, all this is great. All this is great. But how is it that as UX designer, how do you make sure you've explained so many things, right? How is it that you make sure all these things are followed, right? So let me tell you. For this reason, what we do is we follow something called as a process. We follow a UX design process, right? Obviously, any career option which you want to explore will definitely have some set of rules, some set of processes to go ahead and do it, right? So what I'll do is I will go and explain few of the important steps which we do as UX designers when we go and ensure all those things which I discussed till now, right? Going and designing for users, going and designing for businesses, and going and using those tools. Where do all these things fit in their places? I will show some examples. Okay, I'll show a real-time project, right? And I'll kind of explain you how is it that this whole thing fits into a process. And I'll clear few misconceptions there as well, right? Okay, let me show it to you. The first thing what we do, which popularly people miss, is we go and gather business requirements. That's the first thing we do. Because where do we start off with? We don't start off with randomly just going and, thinking that, oh, users might have this problem, let me go and work on it. No. We're working for businesses because we're getting paid. We want to get paid as well. We want to get paid as much as possible. We want to generate a lot of value and get valued in return. So we work for businesses, right? So therefore, the first step is going and gathering business requirements. Business can be right or wrong. What they're assuming can be right or wrong. That is important, right? So what we go and do is, therefore, we go and define all the steps which are there in the problem, right? What does the business really want? Why should I really solve it for users? Why, what, where, all those 5 W's we go and use, and we understand the problem which we are going to solve as much as possible, right? Notice on, guys, note this one. Let me quickly show it again, right? Let me note down these steps. We gather business requirements as a first step, right? Then what we do is we go and understand the problem as much as possible, right? By asking multiple questions, like you saw in that example where I said, like, hey, look at this screen, ask these questions, you have these questions, those questions, why this is happening, why that is happening, right? Looked at a switch also, and you are like, hey, why is it that switch is like that? How did I use this switch in such an easy manner? In the same way, in the same common sense way, after taking a requirement from a business, what we do is we ask multiple questions and we try and get clarity on the problem as much as possible, right? And then what we do is, now that you also understood that it is not enough, whatever all our assumptions are there, they're not enough. What we do is we establish the need for research, right? That's one of the very, very important steps we do, is we go and prepare all those things. We do multiple things so that we go and prepare for our research. We establish the need for going and doing research, right? And once we do this, what we do is we go and conduct research, right? I've also told you, right, there are multiple things which we do conducting first-hand research, where we ourselves go and talk to people, right? We also go and do second-hand research, where there is existing research available with us, and we also use and collect that data, right? So write this down. We conduct research as well at multiple things. There are a lot of things. Obviously, this is a small session trying to introduce you about UX design. I can't cover everything about it, right? We'll get there. We also have a question and answer session. We'll get there. But right now, just let this enter and understand everything, right? Just get an idea. That's it. This is all about getting an idea. That's it. Simple, right? Yes, conducting research, right? And after conducting research, do we just stay like that? No, because we have to get that research into one place and need to understand about it, right? So we do a lot of steps like creating personas, creating target groups, multiple things, right? We do affinity diagrams, multiple techniques we use to actually go and analyze this research, right? Don't worry about all those techniques and all right now. Get the heart that we go and collect the data, right? And then after coming back, we go and all the collected data, we keep it in one place and we analyze and make sure that we understand the data so that we can go and build those products for these people, right? What do we do after that? After going and analyzing all this research which is brought, okay, then we go and sit on ideate, right? Because now we want to solve those problems. We identified the problems. We understood from the people what problems they're facing and all those things. And what we now do is we go and ideate, right? Whatever solutions we use multiple frameworks and all that. Don't worry about all that. But we come up with a lot of solutions, right? And then after we write down a lot of solutions, very common sense, guys. All this is very common sense, right? Finding about what is wrong, what is the problem, going and analyzing what the problem is, coming down and writing down ideas to go and solve the problem. Common sense, nothing else is there, right? After writing down ideas, what is the next common thing to do? To go and make rough diagrams of it. Simple, right? We just go and make rough sketches to go and ideate all our whatever solutions we want to go and solve those problems, right? So in this way, just make multiple rough sketches like wireframing, which you have seen over there, right? And then what we do is after this stage, after we get multiple feedback and all this at this stage, what we go and do is we go and do UI design as well, right? We go and make these screens. We use multiple tools, right? Like popularly Figma. Figma has taken over everything right now, right? So we use popular tools like Figma and go and build those screens using existing systems, right? And after doing that, it doesn't finish by here. It's our job is not done here. You know what? I made these screens and my job is done. No, right? We again go back to users and we again test it with people. We understand whether it is really, really working or not. We go and see, we observe what they're trying to do, whether they are really understood or not. And then we go make changes based on all the feedback we actually get from real people, right? Awesome. Awesome. So this is how much happens when we actually go and do a UX project, right? We gather business requirements, we define the problems, we understand the need for research, we conduct research, we analyze research, we ideate solutions, we do wireframing, we do UX design, we UI design, and then we go and test with users. We follow all these things, which is popularly known as the UX design process. Right? Of course, I've not explained very details about everything because it takes months to actually learn about everything, right? I'm only giving you an idea about what happens as a UX designer with a very common sense approach. That's it, right? So in this manner, there are multiple steps which we follow as UX designers to go and produce something. But let me tell you one thing. There's a very popular misconception over here that people think that, oh, because someone has explained us that there is a process which is followed, the process is always followed. If you don't follow the process, you are a criminal. It's not like that. It's not like that, right? Let me tell you one thing. What we do is, let us say you are trying to cook, right? Obviously, there is a process, there is a way. You can't obviously do, you can't eat before you actually cook also. Like probably sometimes you have to add salt at one kind of location. But the point is, depending upon the dish you're cooking, the way in which you do those things can change from someone else doing those things. Sometimes you might even skip some steps, right? So in the same manner, because this is a process which is very human-centric, it is being done by humans, it is not being done by robots, we actually decide what steps to follow, what really makes sense for the problem which we are solving. Do you get this? Just because the processes are written so that we get clarity about what's happening. We can learn it in that manner. It doesn't matter that it doesn't mean that if you follow everything only religiously, then only. It's not like some cement manufacturing process. Only if you follow the 13 steps of creating cement or nitrogen manufacturing process in your childhood, you have learned all these things, right? Only if you follow all these processes, then only you can make nitrogen out of it, right? That is a process which is being done by a machine, but this is a process which is being done by humans, which is very important. And therefore, we use our brain to understand what steps have to be applied where. And therefore, what they have done is to make us understand this process in its heart. What they have done is, if you observe, this zooms out to something called as multiple stages, right? You go and observe this. Multiple stages which are there, going and understanding the businesses, going and understanding the users, is actually known as empathizing, right? They've given us a framework so that we go and understand, oh, these are all the multiple activities which can be done in your design process, right? So they say, hey, you know what, go and understand users, go and empathize with them, right? And then what you do is you define your problems, what ones you want to solve, right? And then go and ideate all the solutions which you want to, whatever techniques you want to, whatever you want to do, go and ideate. And then after that, go and make prototypes, go and make working models of it, and then go and test those things, whether they're really working with users or not. You start with users, you understand with people, you define their problems, you go and get your ideas, you make working models, and you go back and test it with users, right? This is the heart, right? Within these circles, how many ever steps lay, whatever you do, it doesn't matter, right? Even these circles also, it doesn't matter whether you do here and all, it all makes on the kind of dish that you are cooking. Do you get this, guys? Do you get this? If you get this, say, I will follow a process according to my situation. Say it on the chat. Come on. On the chat, everyone, you put this, you have to put this full line. I will define my own process. I will work on my own process based on my situation. Write this down, guys. Write this down. Right? And let me tell you one thing. For us to remember all this in an even more easier manner, they've actually kept a name to this also. And that name is actually known as the design thinking process, right? So we don't have to always remember all these steps. They've given a name to this. You know what? I could have started like this, right? I could have said that, you know what, design thinking process, and it has these 5 steps, and then you can expand to multiple steps. Then I could have confused everyone, right? What I did is I started with the examples, and then made you realize the importance of it, and then made you realize that there is definitely a process involved, and then showed you the steps of the process, and then simplified it to multiple areas under which the steps are coming, and then gave you the name that this is design thinking process. How many of you agree that this is the way we need to learn anything? This is the way. We need to understand concepts first. We need to internalize those concepts first. We should not be bombarded with a lot of stuff. Once we internalize, so that it becomes easier for us to recollect, we go and then utilize terms. Not we start off with the terms and then we empathize, ideate, define, prototype, and then forget. We don't do this. This is the way to go and learn things. right? So you will all promise me that you will follow, you will practice the UX design process with the heart of design thinking process, right? Will you promise to me? Say design process on the chat. Come on the chat. Yes. Awesome, 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 awesome. This is so wonderful, right? So the next question you might have is, hey, Anudeep, all this is great. Very, very nicely. You have explained all the crux of what UX designers do. But my biggest question, Anudeep, is how do I get started in UX design today? How is it that I can practice UX design? You've asked us to practice this, practice that, and all this thing. How is that I can get started from today, right? So let me tell you one very, very, very important thing, guys. Very, very important thing. What I want you to do is try UX design. Try UX design, right? When you want to take this step. A lot of people over here, they're like, hey, you know what? I'm working as a developer. I'm working as a graphic designer. I am an engineer. I'm a student. Multiple people over there. Do not take unnecessary decisions by jumping off totally into this career and not understanding what to do. First, find opportunities to go and try. Because the good part about UX design is using the framework which I have given till right now, right? All these things, you can actually go and try it out. You can go and try out whether UX design is working out within your own capacity, right? You can go and understand about multiple UX design principles like what you have seen over here. You can go and practice research. You can go and talk to people. You can try everything and see whether it is actually fitting you or not. It is very, very, very important to try it out first. You got this? Say, I will try on the chat. Come on. It's very important, guys, because if you try it out and if it is for you, then it really, really, really works. Right? And I've also seen a lot of people just jumping off decisions. They just leave their jobs. They don't understand and they're like completely confused about what to do in UX design, right? Finding the right kind of person to go and teach UX design in the right kind of an approach and trying UX design is very, very, very important. How do you do that? All those action items which we have until now written, right? I'll read them out again, right? You will work on yourself. You will work on yourself. You'll discover whether UX is a fit to you or not. You will practice multiple fundamental UX design principles. You will go and practice UX design research. You'll practice impacting businesses as well. You will generate value and you will get valued in return. And then what you do is you will practice wireframing and low fidelity prototyping, right? And you'll also go and practice UI design and high fidelity prototyping. And on top of it, you will also try and follow the heart of design thinking. You'll follow UX design process while doing all these things, keeping the heart of design thinking at the center, right? Will you do it? Say promise on the chat if you want to do this. Come on, promise. Yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes. Awesome. Did you all get a very, very nice intro to how UX design works? In a very, very short time, how many of your perspectives completely changed about what UX designers do? Let me tell you, this is one of the most honest representations of understanding what UX design is.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Anudeep. Love the energy with which you shared all your learnings with us today. Thank you so much for doing this. This just shows the passion that you have towards this industry and towards upskilling people in design. Awesome. So folks, I'm going to be interacting with all of you for the next 10 to 15 minutes, post which we are going to have the Q&A session, of course. And I know that all of you are brewing with questions right now. But before I talk about what I really want to talk about, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Fani Krishna. I'm a program manager at Growth School, and I primarily work towards building more and more intensive learning opportunities for the learners that we have at Growth School. And today, since all of you are designers, you could be a designer who is starting off in their career. You could be someone who is transitioning into design, or you could be someone who is already in the design industry but wants to upskill. There is something very, very interesting that we have built with Anudeep that I'm going to share over the next 10 to 15 minutes that I'll be interacting with you. And what is it? What is it that we have built with Anudeep? It's a 6-month intensive UX design program that can help you if you are someone who wants to upskill yourself in this particular field, right? So I'm just going to be closing the chat box at this point for the next 10 to 15 minutes so that I can put in some important links that would help you enroll yourself or apply to this program. And I'm also going to be sharing my screen right now to talk more about this program and give you all the details pertaining to this course that we have built. And post that, if you have any questions, we'll be very happy to take them as well. Awesome. So allow me to share my screen. I hope you are able to see it. All right. So introducing you to the UX Career Accelerator program that we have at Growth School, which we have built in collaboration with Anudeep, whom you have interacted with for almost an hour today. This is a 6-month intensive UX design program to help designers either start or grow in their UX design careers, right? And one very, very